think that there's a lot of, I think one of the reasons I can reach people is that I'm not such a big believer in that Judaism has to be seen as so exclusive. That we're a much more inclusive society today, especially in America, and so I think in order to fit in that mold, I try to teach a Judaism that's a little bit more universal and not so as particular.
This which I like it.
And that's, that we can learn from other traditions, learn from other religions, and also feel that we don't have the only truth. We don't have the only answer, and yet to do that in a way that says we have a unique answer, we have a answer, and that we should know what our answer is to the great questions of our time. And that's what I try and bring to the youth and try to bring to our congregation, and to interpret, be able to use our minds. It doesn't always, I think we have to know our tradition, but it's not always going to be, that's where we find our answers. I think that's a ground and a basis, but we have to be able to think and develop thoughts and deal with issues that our ancestors really would not have known about, based on our freedom in America and based on the Enlightenment and based on the evolution that we've gone through. And so I'm happy to be able to do it, and it's pretty amazing that someone like you in your 90s is finding new meaning and finding different meaning, and open and interested in new ideas. That's a pretty unique trait.
Rabbi, I learned for you how to study the Talmud. I find by Maimonides that he was using some ideas when I studied it.
Yes.
So what I done, I started to study Aristotle, and later on I was studying, then I studied Rambam and other rabbis. I find out that in the past we have some rabbis who try to find a way how to explain. And in the history of our Jewish people, you find some rabbis that tell you they have an apocryphus, but not now. We live in another time.
Right.
Because, this which we have our command have been created over 3,000 years. In Moses' time, Exodus from Egypt.
Yes.
But when I'm looking now, scholars, Jewish rabbis, educated historians, and teachers like you, try to explain the generation.
Right.
That they understand what kind of basic moral we have, what we give. You know why? I was in China. I went twice. I went in 1986, in 1987. I came in 1987. I met the same historian who have been teaching in Peking. A Chinese, he went special to Israel, learn Hebrew, and he is writing the history of Jewish people. I had a conversation with him, and I tell him, do you know something about the time when Moses lived? Something, yes, I asked him. We have a 20 years time, a black space in Moses. What happened? You know what he said? I presume that Moses was traveling all over the world, trying to gain knowledge. And after this, we have the Ten Commandments, because I studied the Ten Commandments, comparing again to the creators of Buddhism, Muslim. Everyone took, the beginning from the leaders after, from the philosophers. Why? Because we know this. In the ancient world, we didn't have a university, no colleges. Everything was taught us on learn, the student have to remember.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to a one sentence for Aristotle, this which I find Bible worthiness, how I worthiness. You know, he have student. They have gone on the shore of the Mediterranean. He studied, tell him, sometimes he tested. He turned around, went to his student. Antonio was him. Antonio, do you learn something? He said, Master, I'm 20 years. I know everything. He said, just wait a minute. They didn't believe in God. He said, he created us as Zeus, the god of the Roman in the Greek world.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, in this time, the human brain wasn't ready, you know, to create a God. You know, it's something, a philosophy, a basic for the Ten Commandments. One God. They have a lot of gods. Why? Because if you go, I am a scholar who spent so many years to study. I know so much, still I don't know nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But I find out that the human brain needs time for evolution.
Yes.
You remember in the history, you know, the Netherlands men, they believe in animals, in birds. You know what Abraham did? His father-in-law, you remember? He went in and killed, he destroyed the whole gods.
Yep.
And the Roman court, come on, what's happened? He said to him, the gods fight to them.
Yes.
He looked at him, he went to it, said nothing. You know, Abraham was the first one who tried to understand why we are here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this was the beginning of the Jewish people,
Yes.
our patriarchs. You know, they have to be ready. So the human brain needs time to develop. Like today, you know, I studied so many years. I have so many unanswered questions. Still, we have some questions which we couldn't answer.
Yeah.
What is the universe? Somebody created. Because everything has a beginning. They're trying to find out now. I don't know. This is one of my questions which I couldn't answer.
Right.
You know, it's so nice that a Jew live in this fast-moving time, and he can be a part of the society, only thanks to leaders like us. You preparing the young generation, you know, to for tomorrow, that they can be a part of the society. Like,
I appreciate
but
it.
still, they have the code. You know this so well, that we survive only about the tradition. You know, down to the Christian world. I study, the Christian history. You know, in 6th century, when they have in Constantinople, they, split the church to the Gregorian church and the Catholic church. The Caliphate from Constantinople called in the Sanhedrin from the Jewish people, told him, we are one family. I like you, but change your religion.
Mm-hmm.
You get everything. The Sanhedrin said, we have only one good, one Bible. I will despise you. You will lose your right. This was the first time when anti-Semitism took, a tool to the right to kill.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you take the history, we have books, this which I'm telling to you, this which I have in my library, my books.